the multiple cases of Chinese penetrations into the United States, and we're talking about CIA penetrations, DoD penetrations, penetrations into the Marine Corps, into the Navy, into the Army. What's not being said is that those same penetrations are majoritively Chinese American citizens.
Yeah.
Right? Ethnically Chinese citizens who have American citizenship. And it's very well known, documented publicly, that this is China's intelligence MO.
Yeah.
They look for Chinese hybrid of all nationalities. If they want to penetrate the Brits, they look for Chinese British. If they want to penetrate the Australians, they look for Chinese Australians.
Because the cultural tie for them is so strong.
Yep. Yeah. So the benefit that they have is that they're talking to a group of diaspora, Chinese diaspora, and they already understand their cultural wiring, right? So they understand that they can twist those levers and those motivators stronger than we can defend against them.
Yeah.
But the flip side to that is exactly what you're saying. How long, if ever, before we start to just see all Chinese in the United States as a potential threat, right? This is 2 years ago when COVID was kind of peaking. They started talking about this, what was it, like a racism against China or Chinese? Do you remember that? I forget. They had a word for it.
Oh, I don't remember.
And I forget what it was.
I do remember there was an increase in attacks and
or at least they said there were more hate crimes against Chinese ethnic people, and that people were biased against Chinese ethnic people. Yeah. Like, no, we are nowhere near where the world was, where the United States was in World War II.
Right.
When they literally interred every Japanese American into camps in the United States.
Yeah.
But the more that I read about Chinese Americans being the backbone for Chinese espionage in the United States, the more it makes me worry. Because it does seem like in the head of a policymaker, in the head of like somebody who's panicked and in charge of national security, you can see how they would land on, well, we need to prioritize investigations of Chinese Americans.
Yeah.
And the Chinese are also using the same vulnerability against us. Yeah. Why is the military accepting naturalized Chinese citizens into the military at all? Why are they getting in? Because we have a recruitment crisis. So they're skipping steps in their due diligence. They're skipping steps in their onboarding process, right? And that's how a seated intelligence operative can successfully enter the U.S. Navy, steal secrets about like naval space operations and satellite technology, and send it back to China. And now, like the fact that we are arresting and prosecuting that individual, that's all well and good. The secret has already been transferred.
Yeah.
Like bringing them to justice doesn't reverse the fact that the secret's already out there.
Right.
They were successful in their operation.
Yeah, they were successful. Yeah. I think it's we have to be so careful not to cross these lines into, being like a police state.
Yes.
It's like our values are like, we have to hold strong to our values of freedom, our values of respecting each other. Like we have to understand that these people are here, but that we can't turn on each other either.
Right. I think the path to solving this problem is training and awareness.
Yes.
That's all it is. But that costs money with no clear outcomes. And that's been the problem with the United States for so many. Why is it that we continue to have school shootings? Because when it comes down to it, the people in charge of school districts are asking themselves the question, well, what's the probability that a mass shooter is going to come into my district? And if it's a 1 in 1,000 chance, why would I spend $10,000 educating everybody on how to react? Instead, I can just give everybody a link to a YouTube video on whatever they do, run, hide, fight.
Yeah.
Right? Like that is the calculation that goes through the school district's head. That's the calculation that goes through the military's head. Well, what are we going to do? Are we going to train all 80,000 new personnel in counterintelligence techniques to make sure they identify if they're being spotted by the Chinese? We're going to spend, $8 million training all of them, and it still may not work. That's the kind of calculation they're making. And I get it, but it's so much better than risking more penetrations, advancing current operations, because that's what's happening is for every one person who's been identified, there's another 5 that are in development, 5 that are giving secrets right now that nobody even knows about.
Yeah.
And the only way that you're going to get them to realize what's happening to them is if you give them some kind of training, some kind of awareness. If you like this short clip, make sure you click here to see the next clip or here to see the full podcast episode.